Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Welcome to the online meeting of Speakers Community Toastmasters Club. I'm pleased to be your Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. In the online meeting environment, there are few instructions that we follow. I request you to rename yourself, or the Toastmasters can prefix TM to your name and can prefix guest. I also request all the speakers and role holders to prefix their role to their name so that it's easy to identify them. All speakers are requested to do a quick audio and video check before they start their speech. I would request you to not to type in the chat box when a speaker is speaking, as it disturbs the speaker. You can use the private chat to provide feedback. You all are requested to keep your audio on mute in case you aren't speaking. Please refrain from unnecessary moments. Please turn off the video in case you need to do so. Do not click on the share screen unless your speech or role requires you to do so. You can connect with the Tech Master for any technical glitch. The Tech Master for today's meeting is Toastmaster Monica. If you are a speaker, then please ensure you pin the timer or confirm that the same is visible at all times. This meeting is being recorded. In case you have any reservation, please let us know. You can network after the meeting. We have the networking session at the end of the meeting. Please stay tuned. Now, let me share the mission of the club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. You know, guys, a mentee who is a great learner and a mentor who is a great guide or leader in our life. Today, we have a person who is always evergreen and having a charming smiling on the face throughout the meeting. None another, Toastmaster Kalpana. I welcome the presiding officer to take you through the further proceedings. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Monica, for that wonderful introduction. And I am very happy to be present here today, initiating the 103rd meeting. Let me tell you very quickly something about Toastmasters. I think it's a journey that gives us a lot of learning. It gives us a lot of support, and it gives us an edge in the personality. And before long, before we know it, we find that all our inner barriers, especially when it comes to speaking on any topic with anybody, anywhere, does get eroded. And we find ourselves standing very confidently, making our strides into personal as well as professional fields with remarkable ease. That is what Toastmasters is all about. A little on Toastmasters about recently concluded eloquence. It was a fantabulous event, and it was conducted physically after 2 years of pandemic COVID. All the Toastmasters have had a blast in Apno, Gujarat. as you know, Amitabh says. Emerging winners have been announced, and as usual, Toastmasters has ensured a great learning within that year itself. If you plan to join Toastmasters, remember it has various advantages. And one of the best advantages is being here and interacting with all of you. So, what have Speakers Community Toastmasters Club brought in today? Today, I have not managed, because our Toastmaster Shanice was also willing, and a darling that he is, he never tells us or no whenever we have approached him. Shanice is a fantastic person. Whenever you want for some sort of an advice, some support, some guidance, a mentor's mentor, it is Sunish. What I recall about him is he enjoys playing a sport. I think it is tennis. Am I right, Sunish?
Yeah.
Yes. You will not believe a person is not just a speaker who is into sports and who enjoys an outdoor life, brings a lot to the table, because I have learned that a sportsman is the best person who can teach you about team, how to be in a team, how to be a part of a team, how to be a leader or a team leader. And that is what Sunish is going to tell us about, as to how sometimes we have to be subdued in a leadership role and how sometimes we need to stand out in a leadership role. I request each and every one of you to welcome a great friend, a great Toastmaster, a great person, Toastmaster Shanish. Can we welcome him with a huge round of applause? The stage is yours, Sunish. Take it forward.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kalpana. I think the main reason every time I end up coming to the club is because of the wonderful introduction you give me, and I feel good after hearing to the introduction.
All of
I,
them are meant to be true.
I won't argue otherwise. But I think the next time if somebody asks me, I'm going to share your number to get my introduction from you.
Sure.
Thank you, Kalpana, and all from speakers community for giving me the opportunity and for being here. I would request you guys, if you are at home and if you can switch on the video, do switch on the video. I intend to have a more interactive session rather than being a monologue. I have been sometime on the other side and have found it difficult to keep my eyes open for 30 minutes or so. So I would love to know each of you over the next 30 to 40 minutes as we try to explore the various leadership roles in the Toastmaster. And as they say, like, I have to know about my audience. So a quick question, how many people over here? So you can raise your virtual hands or your hand like this as well. So how many of you have spent less than 2 years in Toastmasters? Okay, Dheer, I see Dheer, Ravinder, yeah, Monica, Jesh, Ravinder. So most of the people, Keith, everybody. All right. So Jyoti, Manoj, and Saurabh, if I can ask you guys, I think you guys have spent more than 2 years. So how long you have spent?
I've been in Toastmaster for almost 7 years.
Wow.
So 7-year-old kid.
Definitely. So looking forward to inputs from you as well, Manoj, as we'll be discussing on the various leadership roles. And then Toastmaster Jyoti.
Yeah, I have completed about 4 years.
Great. Again, 4 years, amazing time. And Toastmaster Saurabh.
I'm sorry, I'm having tech issues. Today is my first day. I couldn't
Yeah, he's a guest.
comment or
Guest.
Yes, he is actually has got in touch with me last week, and he has come in as a guest. In fact, I didn't see him while I was, doing my president address. And suddenly, when I was just checking the whole, all of them, I realized he's there. So I'll be talking to him later. Over to you, Sunish. It is his
Thanks.
best day and
Uh,
first day, and let us make it worth his while.
Certainly. Everybody's worth everybody, because
Yes.
everybody have taken a Sunday evening and joined us.
Yes.
So now another question is, how many people have taken any leadership role in the group over the last 6 months? Yeah, Mihir, I see your hands. So I would request you guys one by one. I'll just call out the names and then just tell us what role you have played, if you have played more than one role, and maybe one thing what you like about the role, and maybe one thing if you something you don't like about the role, if you want to share, and keep it crisp. So we'll try to finish it right now. I was supposed to have a 45-minute session and we are now at 3:45. We'll try to wind it up by possibly 4:15 or 4:20. Yeah, Manoj, I would first ask you.
Okay, in my 7 years of joining Toastmaster, I've taken different roles. Mostly I've been a VP education, once a president, then SA, I've been twice the SA of different clubs. So I started my journey way back in 2017, Dehradun. Then I moved to Kota, where we established a club, where there was no club over there. Then I moved to Chennai. There I was part of 2 different clubs, changing one club to another. And currently I'm in a place where there is no clubs and there's no clientele to establish a Toastmaster club. So I'm in a online club that is Chalk and Dusters. And basically TTM of today's meeting, Ravinder Kaur and me, we are from the same club. And in current club, I am holding the position of a VP, while Ravinder Kaur is the SA of that club. And my experience of being a VP, it is satisfying, because you try to chase people to take on different roles, but sometimes the chase becomes too lengthy, then you get fed up. In the current club, I'm feeling that chase is becoming too longer, which I had never faced earlier. But the chase is going on. The chase is also sometimes quite interesting.
Thank you,
So
Manoj. Yeah.
that's all from my side.
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you for sharing that. As we move forward, I'd request you guys just mention the post you have heard, and like how Manoj at the end mentioned, chasing the role player. He found it interesting, adventurous, and yet chasing is something sometimes it becomes a concern. So minimize it to that 2 things so that we can quickly cover up the people. I want to keep it interactive, yet want to cover as much content as possible. Yeah, Kalpana. Next, yes.
All right. Thank you, Sunish. Well, I have worn multiple hats. I began my journey as a SA, terrified of the YouTube channels that I had to manage because I had no idea how to download a video and then upload it. But today I am really happy that taking up that challenging role has made me at least a wee bit aware about the social or the PR field where the Toastmaster is concerned. And then I have worn multiple hats of president, VPE, and VPM. Each of these roles have taught me as a president, okay, manage well. And I was surprised that there is a courage and a strength that if we delve in, we do find. As a VPE, I realized the networking. I enjoyed as I came across so many Toastmasters and befriended them and got to know them and found a common ground with them. So I think I grew exponentially when it came down to being a VPE. Another role that I dreaded was that of a VPM, and it took me a while because I'm not a pushy person. I respect the no of a person. And when I just get a no from a person, I just double back like anything. So as and when I stepped and continued my journey as VPM, I learned persuasive skills. I learned negotiation skills. I learned people skills and honing into the actual requirement of a person, and perhaps even ensured that each and every barriers that a person comes across or doubts that they have in their mind, I could tackle, cope up, and answer them. I still back off when there is a very firm no, and I'm trying to overcome and improvise on my persuasive skills. But yes, all these three, four roles that I have undertaken have taught me you can step out of your comfort zone. There is a lot of learning once you take up a leadership role. There's a lot of support, unlike the fact you might be terrified that you are alone and you have to handle it alone. No, that's not so. And if you do the VPM role, you definitely come across people, know their issues, learn, and you can teach them how to tackle their issues and then still find place for a hobby that is public speaking that can help them professionally and personally. So I think there has been an exponential growth since I took up
Thank you, Kalpana.
leadership skills.
Thank you for sharing that, and apologies for jumping in. Since we have 40 minutes, I have to be a bit stern in terms of that, or else I would not get to share what I have come to share, what you have invited me to share. And as we move ahead in the session, I know we have many other leaders. I saw Mihir raise his hand. I saw Geet raise his hand. What we do is we'll be taking on the leadership roles one by one. And again, I would be asking you guys, like if anybody of you have played the role, and I would encourage you guys to share it in the interest of time, because I would like to keep that. One of the things I've learned in Toastmasters is to keep it within the bounds of the time. So 4:20 is something I'm looking up to wind up the session. And now moving ahead, let me ask this. How many people know the club mission? Can I see a raise of hand? Okay, Ravinder, can you say the club mission for us?
In the Toastmasters International, we provide a positive learning experience in which the members are empowered to develop their communication as well as the leadership skills. That results in positive self-growth and higher self-confidence.
Thank you, Ravinder. Thank you for sharing that. We'll spend 3 to 4 minutes on this. And this is very special to me. I would ask your opinion, like if you have Google it out, just have that on the, like, what do you feel when you heard? Because every meeting is started with it. Do you recollect with the words? Or what does that remind you when you hear this club? Because it's being said, right? Everything. Or are you just attending the meeting with your ears closed? Someone is sergeant at arms is saying, okay, let me get started and then put on the mute. So what does these words resonate with you? And then anything, one sentence. So I'm looking for 3-4 people. So I saw Jyoti applaud. So I'll ask Jyoti, Toastmaster Jyoti.
See, whenever I listen to the mission statement, each and every word on the mission statement is based in gold. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered. There is no spoon feeding. Each and every member is empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence. Self-confidence is something which I was lacking before I joined Toastmasters. This mission statement, it shook me. It said, if I have that self-confidence, very easily I can go to my personal growth. So the mission statement, each and every word weighs a ton of gold. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyoti, for sharing that. What I would encourage you guys is put it in the chat. If you have time, write in Google, which is one word that resonates with you the most out of the club mission. Let me share for me, which it is. For me, I would say it is we. The first word, we. We provide a supportive and positive, because the leadership in Toastmaster, it reminds me about the democracy. That is of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's not an institution where we pay the fees and there is a teaching staff or trainers who has been paid and who does things for us. It is the members like you and me who take up that leadership mantle and provide that service to each other, and to members, future members, current members who will take up the leadership in future. And how we treat them today is going to be how they treat other people as well as us in the future. So it is very important how we treat the people. We cannot say, okay, I am the president, I will take a decision and this is what needs to be done. I am the VP, I will choose the people who will get to play the roles or give the speeches. It's my sole authority as vice president education, or maybe as a VPM. Okay, like when the guest is coming, let the guest come, we'll see how it is. Remember that feeling, right? We also were at some point of time a guest. And when we entered in that unknown virtual or physical room, we were looking at that stranger faces and looking for that some warm, gentle smile, somebody could come and say hello to us. And as VPM, are we doing that? So what is important is that for me, like, don't wait for somebody else to come and make that change. It is we who have to make that change. And when we take that leadership role, officially we get that position and capacity to do that, make that small change in the culture of the club under the leadership or the vision of the president in various capacities. So how many XCOM roles are there in the club leadership committee? Anybody guesses?
7.
7.
Yeah, Mihir, yeah, Jyoti, correct. 7 leadership roles. So how many people over here joined Toastmasters because they wanted to become leaders? Geet, Mihir, Ravinder, good. Great to see that clarity that they joined Toastmasters for developing their leadership skill. For me, it was more about public speaking. And beyond public speaking, it was more about having that, I would say, that social club where I can meet like-minded people and having that, and that was a. But today I renew my Toastmaster membership because of leadership. For me, the value lies in that leadership program of Toastmaster. Let's look at it one by one. Sergeant at Arms is the first role we'll take and discuss on that. Anybody in the room who has done the Sergeant at Arms role? So I think Kalpana had mentioned about Manoj, Ravinder, yes. Monica, yes. So what we'll do is, I want you guys who have taken different roles, think in your mind and maybe write it down. Maybe 1 point for each role, as we'll be discussing different roles. And I'll be calling upon you and giving you the stage and share with us one thing you learned from the role. Keep it crisp. I'm a big fan of that, keeping to the point. So again, and I will, I'll be sharing the screen with all of you guys because I want to listen from you. At the same time, I want to cover the whole 7 roles and give opportunity to various other people. At times, I might sound rude when I interrupt you. So be kind with me as you cross beyond the threshold of 30 seconds. So I would request you guys, since that's why I convey the format to you. So have that. I would love to listen from every one of you. And Kalpana, we have already heard from you about the SAS, so no chance for you, since we have already 3 other people. So I would request Ravinder, about Sergeant at Arms.
Yes. Thank you, Toastmaster Sunish. Yes, I was appointed as an EXCOM member since January to June this term. But as I joined the Toastmaster in the last year, May 2022, so in the month of September, our previous Sergeant at Arms was not available. So I took over his role. So I started doing this work. So now I have a 9 month of experience of Sergeant at Arms and I am learning.
Ravinder, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So what I want is quick learning from you. Background we'll skip, but that's what I want to emphasize so that others will also get what is it that we want to bring in this way. So you're learning from the Sergeant at Arms and one challenge if you want to share.
Okay. Learning point of view, I have become unstoppable with this role. And the challenge that I am facing right now is when I am doing the Sergeant at Arms, Zoom, speaker, then it became difficult to cope up with all the roles at the same time. So when I was going through the training, then the one thing I have learned that always focus on delivering your speech when you will be a SAR. Otherwise, you will forget that you have to deliver the speech. So that was the only challenge I am facing with this role. Otherwise, it's a marvelous job of being a Sergeant at Arms.
Thank you, Ravinder. Monica, quickly, just one learning from your role and one challenge in one sentence.
The best part I learned from as a SAR is to start meeting on the time and make sure to end it on time. And I learned the multitasking. And the biggest problem initially I faced that putting the videos on the YouTube, but I learned it later on, and now it is good going. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you for sharing that. I love the way you kept it small and crisp to the point. And I encourage all the future people who are coming on screen to do that, me included. So anybody over here who is from the physical format, or else I would skip the points of, okay, Geet Isra. So Geet, have you done the Sergeant at Arms role?
Not officially, but yes, I am, you can say, associate Sergeant at Arms. So whenever there is not
So
Sergeant available, so I'm the
one
one who's taking.
learning from your end. Since you have done the buddy role.
Yeah, it's holding yourself accountable, because to start the meeting, you have to be there on time, actually before time, and have all those things. In physical meeting, you need to have a lot of things in place, trophies, TV, projector, speakers, everything. So yeah, holding myself accountable is the biggest learning that I learned from that.
Thank you, Geet. Thanks for sharing that. Let me give a take on the Sergeant at Arms role. It helps you to run the logistics of the venue. If it's a physical meeting, you have to block the room. If it's a college or an office or some other working, you have to connect with the coordinator who is ensure that the payments are being done based on whatever agreement is between your club and that particular venue authority. So if it's to be done at the end of the month or in the beginning, that needs to be done. And again, like Geet and Monica pointed out, starting at the time and ending at the time. That's very, very critical. And then that's again, I'm emphasizing, this is something I learned in Toastmasters. Time is of essence. We Toastmasters always, we take pride in that we start things on time and end things on time. So that is again, Sergeant at Arms ensure that the meeting begins on time. And whatever resources is required, it's there in the place. For example, in the virtual meeting, the link is in place. Sergeant at Arms can be the person who creates the link and share it with the VPPR to be shared along with the flyer, or maybe with the secretary to be cascaded along with the agenda. So those are the things with the Sergeant at Arms can do that. Again, one more thing I want to emphasize is certain roles and responsibilities, according to my understanding, read from the book, and maybe certainly based on my experience, I will say this is what to be done by this particular role bearer. But again, depending on the team dynamics, another person can take it up. At the end of the day, it's a team thing. Let's suppose Sa is not available, it does not mean, okay, I'm not going to go and create the Zoom link or maybe speak with somebody else. So at the end of the day, it's a servant leadership role. So again, coming to this Zoom Master in the virtual meeting, again, launching the polls, who will be the best speaker, the best evaluator, that is something that the Sergeant at Arms can do that. Sergeant at Arms gets to start the meeting. Important role. Every time it's the Sergeant at Arms who sets the tone for the meeting, the intensity. We loved the smile, right? When Monica came and introduced with a warm smile on the Sunday evening. So that's what the Sergeant at Arms does. And initially, new members have that hesitation also. And sometimes I've seen new members who want to go for Sergeant at Arms role because you get to speak at every meeting. That's a privilege and an honor. Like every time you get to do that. But it comes with that responsibility. It should not happen. It's a maybe 6 month or a year term. It should not happen after 4 or 5 meetings. Okay, ye to maine kar liya 4 meeting, wahi karna hai. I'll do like that. So you should not become lackluster over a period of time. Again, it teaches you as the Sergeant at Arms, introducing mostly presiding officer is introduced by the Sergeant at Arms, and it is the president who takes up that role. So 70 to 80%, president will be playing the role. So at Sergeant at Arms, you learn the art of introducing and reintroducing the same person, right? That's again a great skill. You need to know that person to do that. Like every time I come, I'm like, Kalpana's got such a wonderful introduction for me and I feel so warm and good. So every time you want to come on screen, on stage, if you can make your followers feel special, that is a skill set you learn as a Sergeant at Arms. And then again, other miscellaneous tasks also can be taken. Like for example, in the physical setup, the chairs, ensuring the chairs are in the place, or maybe telling where is the washroom, where is the water amenities kept in these places. So those are the things in the physical. Accordingly, in the virtual room, Sergeant at Arm is more in responsible of the virtual room, Zoom room. So if it's being shared with maybe another club, ensure that it's not clashing if you guys have special ad hoc discussion or something like that. So those things can be taken care of because main venue Sergeant at Arm is responsible. Now moving on to the second role. So treasurer. Anybody who played treasurer in? Nobody. Anybody who would like to play the role of treasurer? So no, all right then. So why do you want to play the role of treasurer?
So it's actually just my second meeting, but somehow the people that I've interacted with is first would be TM Kalpana and the other would be treasurer. And I'm a CA, so of course I have interest in this area.
Good, good. Hey. So Kalpana, you have one prospect for the role of treasurer over here. Now, anybody who over here who do not want to play the role of treasurer, like treasurer, I don't want it. Maybe any inhibition. Yeah, Kalpana. Anybody else? Any fears or misconceptions? Over to you, Kalpana. With grade this, you have to give it back within 30 seconds.
Finances scare me. There
Thank
you
you,
are. My math is weak.
Thank you, Kalpana, for sharing that. That's one thing I've learned in Toastmasters is don't let your fear pull you back. Many times in life, we get the opportunities and we are afraid that I have never done this previously in my life. And probably we take it an example that we should not take it up in future as well. And how Kalpana said, like finances, for me also, that was that fear, probably many that I have not done this. How can I do it? Should I do it? So these fears will come up in your life. And some people will have the courage like Kalpana to openly tell it out. Okay, I have never done, I'm afraid of. And some may have that fear within you. So remember, only when you're vocal about your fears can your peers in the fraternity help you out. So if you want to go for any role and the fears holding you back, be vocal about it. Reach out to the XCOM. You guys have such an amazing and powerful president in terms of Kalpana. So she's a very empowering president. So reach out to her and tell her like, this is a role I would like to take it up. And I'm sure she will ensure to provide you that guidance and support. And if she does not have that required expertise, she will outsource it and get someone else to guide you. So take up that role. One thing, like I mentioned, we often believe in life that if we are good at something, we should do that. In Toastmasters, I learned that after taking up a role, we become better at something. Yeah, Jyoti.
Yeah, I was a treasurer for almost 1 year. And what I liked about being a treasurer is he's the person who makes the budget for the entire club. So the first 6 months, I was not very comfortable. So I requested my club to give it me one more chance. So I was there as a role as a treasurer for 6 months, 1 year. And it is one of the best role I have taken.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thanks for sharing that. I'm also, I would say, student from the financial background. I have done MBA finance. I have done BMS with special study in finance. Yet when it came to handling the accounts and finance of another entity, there were certain fears within me. If certain things happens or certain things I'm not able to make it, like but therein lies that opportunity, right? To prove myself wrong, or rather than create that courage within myself. And Toastmaster gives that opportunity. So whatever role it is that take it up. And now coming to the responsibility, like how Toastmaster Jyoti mentioned, there is inflow and outflow of funds. Inflow in terms of the membership dues, which is coming to the club. Outflow in terms of there is dues, which is paid to the Toastmaster International. Then there will be also expenditure in the form of Zoom expenses for a virtual club. And in terms of some types of recognition or acknowledgement, a club decides, okay, we want to felicitate a outside speaker, or maybe the first, second, or the third people, our members who came in the first, second. So again, there are expenses on that. And depending on the club, the leadership, the budget they have, they may have the restriction or the liberty in terms of what they can spend. And a treasurer at the outset of the year can have the discussion with the previous year treasurer, the previous year present, career present, and can have that discussion. So treasurer is a very important role. Like when you go and tell to the president, VP, I want to make that budget, and to do that, I need your help. So somewhere treasurer will be pushing the VPE and VPM and president. Okay, you need to be clear on your mission. Like VPM, when you can tell how many members you will enroll, I'll have some certain of clarity, how much income I will have, how much surplus will have. And based on that, we can create that program. So treasurer is the person who can enable and softly push other leaders as well. Okay, you need to have the goals that will help me as a treasurer to do my duty, how much budget we can have. And when we have that budget, probably how much we can engage and give that good experience to the members as well. Who wouldn't like to get gifts? Let me see a result. Like if your club is having a milestone meeting, maybe 2 year, 3 year, wouldn't you like some kind of moment? Maybe it's not the money, but like small token of appreciation from the club, right? Can I see a raise of hands or what? Like you would get to receive, right? All right. Thank you guys. Thanks for that. And we all love to do that. And treasurer plays a key role in that. When treasurer is proactive and goes to the president, VP and say, okay, this is what we can do it. And that's where that team thing happens. Treasurer cannot just think in the mind, I would do it. Flow of funds is also happening. That also you can do it. There is no harm with it. But each role gives you that potential to do something more. Challenge yourself. Okay, what is it that I can do better? And that's what servants leadership is all about, like giving that special experience to the members of the club. They should feel that it shouldn't happen at the end during March or September when the VPM goes, okay, time for you to renew. And they were like, club ne mere liye kya kiya, yeah, what they given. So we have to make that throughout the year. It cannot be when it's the time for renewal and then suddenly VPM or president calls them up and okay, for that bonding, or some people will do that. So it's a year-long relationship. And that's why I would emphasize again, what you do during your term will be done to you next year when you are a normal member, right? So we have to teach the current members that what we are doing as leaders, we have to do that. Now, moving on to the next role. Any guesses which is the next role? Anybody can unmute.
VPPR.
One more role.
Secretary.
Yes, secretary. So any secretaries in the house? And I mean secretary of Toastmaster. All right. So secretary again is an amazing role. Secretary is someone who maintains the records, takes minutes of the meetings, prepares the agenda before the meeting, and shares the agenda. Many of the people raise their hands when I ask, like, if you want to become good speakers. And I think secretary is one of the roles which can help you draft good speeches, because you have to work on your listening skills, right? You have to listen for a 2-hour meeting. And secretary is a role which I have not performed, but it's there in my mind, something I'm looking forward in the future to take up. Because like I mentioned, for me, when I look at all these roles, I look at these roles as something to take the role and develop that skill set within me. And secretary again provides you that opportunity, the recording the minutes. I'm a disorganized person. My mom is always behind me and I have to keep things organized. So I'm looking forward to the role of secretary, because you have to be organized, share the meeting, share the agenda over the period of 1 year. You have to maintain the records of what happens in the ExCom meeting, send it to the members as an important business decisions what are taken. Years from now, maybe somebody asks why this is being done. And it is the secretary, if that person maintain the records properly, will help the club to, okay, this is why it was done. So your comprehension skills, your writing skills, your listening skills, all those skills you can work upon if you take the role of secretary. Again, during election, let's suppose if a candidate stands and nobody else is there, only one candidate for one position, is the secretary who puts that ballot. So secretary is one of the person who needs to be there during the election from the current role. Now, moving on to the next role. So right now I'm not taking Q&A. We'll take at the end together. So if any questions are there. Moving to the next role, VPPR role. This is the role which I took up first in my club. So vice president for, so again, I would say first special role. So anybody who took the role of VPPR. Yes, Manoj, I see Geet. I'd request Manoj, yeah. One quick learning and one challenge from this way.
Giving publicity to the club that used to do in my first club to write down and give it to the local English newspaper, which is to be published the next day.
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you for that publicity and sharing it with the press. Yeah, Geet.
I would say my biggest challenge in this particular role is to be consistent, because other roles you can manage it, so one week you will put in a lot of effort and you will get the ball rolling from there. But in VPPR, you have to be consistent. This, there, this post, this, there, this post. And yeah, it is very hard to do that sometimes.
Thank you, Geet. Thanks being so frank and honest. Like sometimes it becomes a bearing. Yeah, Jyoti.
What I liked about this role was the brand compliance. Whenever you're doing anything, every time we have to keep it in mind, are you with the Toastmasters brand compliance? So that is very good learning, which I got from Toastmasters, VPPR role.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thanks for sharing that. Kalpana, have you played the role of VPPR? I felt like you raised hand.
No, I didn't raise my hand, and I haven't played the role of a VPPR. I do have a lot of PR ideas though, because I think somewhere there is a creativity bug in me. But when it comes to technology, I find that I am not up to the mark when it comes to making posters or, and then putting it on social medias. But somewhere I think I have helped Monica when it came down to putting videos on YouTube. What I did, though I was not the VPPR, what I did was I asked her to take an excerpt out of any educative sessions, the best speech and the best evaluation. Sometimes they both make the mark, the winners. So I started putting videos that were not exceeding 6 or 8 minutes marks from our own recorded videos. And I think our viewership shot up to an extent where we started having advertisements on our YouTube channel. So those are the things that I sometimes pitch in and then take the help of technically smart people so that the PR for my club is complete. Over to you, Sunish.
Thank you, Kalpana, for sharing that. Think over it. You can go for VPPR. Why not? Like I said, it's a role where everybody gets to do that. Don't think about the resource, because there are a lot of resources where you can overcome that technological shackle, which you feel that everybody have their own demons to fight. So if you feel technology, we have a lot of good educational programs. So we can share on that. I can share it to you. Coming to the role of BPPR, like everybody of you covered, Manoj, Geet, and again Kalpana, like we need to create the social presence of the meeting when it is going to happen. And there are a couple of ways. There are a couple of social platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We need to create awareness on that. There is club website, and you need to have a website for your club, because how will the guest know about your club? That something like speakers community is there, or whichever is your club's name. You're coming from different clubs, I understand. So how will the guest come to know that? So that is very important to have that website, have that social presence. Because understand one thing, all of us have beyond Toastmasters our personal and professional commitments, and sometimes we might choose to shift geographically or choose to take a gap. And to ensure that club continues to run, we need that inflow of members, and VPPR plays a very critical role in terms of getting that guest to the meeting and help make the life of VPM easy. Because if there are guests, only then VPM can speak with them and convert them to the members. So the role of VPPR becomes very critical to bring that guest. Now, another thing which I've noticed is the role does not mean creating a flyer and sharing it in WhatsApp group. It's a very, very powerful role, VPPR role. It's like a strategic role. How can you reach out to more guests? That's the question you need to ask. Posting it to the Toastmaster groups where Facebook, where other Toastmasters are part of that group, they are not going to leave their home club and come and join your club. Whenever you're posting that flyer, ask yourself that question. Have any guest seen my flyer? Or have I put myself in that position where a guest is seeing my flyer? Just putting it on groups where other members, it's good. Other members will come and attend, but as a club, you will not thrive. As a club, when you're putting one of your primary is, yes, I agree. You want other members to club, help, attend your meetings, maybe take up the role. But primary role, if I say guest, you want the guest. The other things, definitely, it's a secondary, I would say, role. Secondary objective. We want more people. The more people, the merrier. The meetings become lively. But one of the primary role is that guest. Ask that question. Have the conversation. Don't take up on your shoulder. If you don't find the answers, discuss with your excom. It does not mean you have to be the Bahubali and okay, Sanisha said I have to get guests. Let me go and see and somehow get 100 guests, 50. You know, have that discussion. Everything is about raising the questions and say, be frank, like this is something I need. I have been creating flyers. I've been posting it and I don't see any guests coming. And I'm concerned about it as a VPPR. What do you think? Reach out to the president and ask, what do you think we can do as a team? Reach out to the VPM and ask, like, what do you think? How can I help? I'm putting in the time. I'm creating the flyer. But then it is not being reflected in the results. Guests are not coming. Now, like Kalpana said, we have guests, Saurabh. So Saurabh, how did you come to know about speakers community? I think Saurabh is not on screen, but ask that question. Maybe somebody from the XCOM, whenever guests are coming, ask the guests that. Yeah, Saurabh.
Yeah, I was browsing the website. That's when I got to know the available clubs here and everything. So that's how I got in touch with Kalpana, and I'm here today.
Thanks, Saurabh. Thanks. See how powerful the role is. Like a potential new member is over here. All of us were that potential new member at some point of time, and we came to know it through various media. And now it is our responsibility that we have benefited from this platform to share it with other people. We are so enthusiastic and passionate because we have benefited. Somewhere it is helping us professionally and personally from this. That's why on a Sunday evening, I am taking time and coming and sharing with you guys. That's why Kalpana is taking that onus on her, and every Sunday she's staying away from her family and friends. She could have spent over that, but she feels as a president, she has to be over here and support the club, the community. And these are the ways we do that. And again, another important aspect Jyoti brought about, that brand compliance. There is a compliance in terms of restriction, in terms of the color needs to be used, font used to be used, how the logo needs to be used. It's like any other organization. And most organizations have that department, marketing department, who stick with it. Over here, that onus lies with VPPR. VPPR has to create that brand awareness within the club. You need to create that educational program. If a member over enthusiastically threshes or crosses the boundary and something shares which is not in alignment with the branding manual, you need to create that awareness. So VPPR role is very, very critical. You get to conduct that. Okay, I want to create that awareness. Like how Kalpana shared, like some of the creative ideas shared, good wow moments of the club she wants to exhibit. It does two things. It makes the member feel special. Who doesn't like to be on Instagram? Maybe you can be the next Instagram influencer. That 30-second can go viral. VPPR can do that. Again, club can benefit. Looking at that video, potential new people can come. So there are a lot of creative ideas out there. What is required is an enthusiastic VPPR amongst you who can take up that role next year. Next role coming to in sync VPM. And in interest of time, so I'll run you guys through it. So I am looking forward to in maybe another 5 to 7 minutes. VPM, again, a critical role, has to work in alliance with VPPR, like I mentioned. And again, there are a lot of awards, recognition for VPM role. That's Medley Award, that's Beat Up the Clock Award, that is Talk Up Toastmasters Award. So VPM is that leadership role for which Toastmasters International themselves have created 3 recognition awards. And during a particular time frame, you have to add 5 members for you to get that. Again, VPM helps you to work upon your persuasion skills. You have to connect with the inquiries, maybe phone calls, WhatsApp, mail. So you have to look when you are available. So don't think how I will go and then convince, ask. There are training programs which will be conducted by the district. There are leaders in the club who will share their knowledge, who was the VPM last year, who held the role of president last year. So all these guys are there. What we are looking out for that is that passion within the people. Okay, I want to do this. And VPM is a critical role in terms of club survival. VP will be very grateful, like how Manoj shared at the beginning, like he has to follow up with people and people are not taking that in VPM lies. Like now you will see how each club officer is dependent on each other. VPM is dependent on VP PR to get the guest. VP dependent on VPM to get members, because when there are members, he has more people to reach out to and ask, okay, why don't you take up the role? And in that way, all these club officers make each other's life easy. Be a bit considerate with each other. All of us are here to learn and discharge the duties, the responsibilities. And when we think how I can make other person's role easy, we are able to better do our roles. When we think, okay, my college does, okay, I'm VPM. I spoke with 3 people, I told them, don't look at it, like you have to bring them, ask them, invite them to the meeting. After the meeting, drop them a message when they are free. Can we have a discussion? And what did you like about the meeting? And share what actually happens in the meeting. Don't tell, like it's like Daban Chawanprash, a meeting attend kiya and tomorrow you can go and speak in front of 100 people or 1,000 people. You have to turn up. Just the membership of Toastmaster does not ensure that you become good speakers or good leaders. It's like gym membership. You have to turn up. After taking the membership, you have to turn up and again take roles. Be active. Don't be passive. Then you will see that change. And again, it will be different for different people over a period of time, right? So it will be different for Kalpana. It will be different for Mihir. It will be different for me. And again, how much time? Like a couple of I've seen Geet. Geet is again, I know one of the members. Any meeting I go into, he's there some role or in some capacity, right? How much bandwidth we have as a person. We have professional and personal commitments. How much time we can take out after that for Toastmaster. So that communication need to happen with that guest. If we mispromise or misalign the information, they will have a different idea. They will join for 6 months and they will, this is not what I wanted. Where did I join? And again, that person is also wasting money. You guys as a club also, unfortunately, are putting investment in terms of time, effort on a person who is not aligned with what you are offering. So VPM role is very critical in terms of having that transparency. What are we offering to the potential members? That clarity needs to be conveyed. Coming to VP role, again, a very, very critical role. If I have to take an analogy, I would say scientists, research and development scientists in an organization. They are responsible, the kind of experience who comes and attends like today's meeting. The VP of the club is responsible. Okay, we'll have an educational session. We'll have a TMOD. What will be the theme? And again, getting the role players. Club में नहीं मिला, बाहर से लेके आना. बाहर से नहीं मिला तो मुझे खुद करना है. So all those things, VP has to do that. Just in the morning, TMOD will message. You know what? I am not available today. I'm not feeling well, so I will not be able to. Then VPs has to scramble and get another role play, like how Manoj. So it's difficult role, but when you go with it, you learn that skill set in life as well. Professionally, if something happens, your project is delayed, and a team member calls, you have a deadline, like I'm not available. You are not running around. You have handled that situation hundreds of times in the meeting. So then you know you have put yourself in that space, in that mindset. Okay, something comes, I can handle that. It's not a big deal. You know, if the crisis happens, how to handle that. And that is what you learn as VPM, giving the speech slot. Let's say 5 members and come and say, I want that speech slot. What will you do as a VP? Whom you will give? Couple of questions I'm raising. Think over it, ponder it. You cannot give all 5 speakers. How will you give? How much time required? How to push people whom to give that opportunity. These things as VP you need to think. And then president, coming to president. President, again, the vision of the president. So I used to have that conversation with my VP a lot. What is the culture of the club we want to have? So those kind of conversations we used to have. So as a president, what is it their vision? 1 year down the line, what is it? Meetings conduct 6-month club or an annual club. So maybe 26 meetings or 52 meetings. Is it just that the meetings happen, or you want to shape and touch lives of the people as a president? You want to have, okay, I want district leaders. I want speakers, people who will win, or I want to help them to become or grow professionally or become better entrepreneur. What is it about that club? What is the USP of the club? Why does it stand apart from other club? And when I say stand apart, it's not I'm saying, okay, this person is giving at 4,000 rupees, I'll give you membership at 3,999. I'm not saying that. What I mean is that why that membership should take membership with your club. What is in it for them? As a president, you are the CEO of the organization. Think in those terms. You are running an organization. You will not get such kind of resources anybody else. Like, you get to make that decision. You have finance at your disposal in terms of your treasurer. You got PR, you got VP, so many people, everything at your disposal. And you are kind of running like an organization. You're the CEO, or the entrepreneur. And if you can do that successfully at the end of 1 year, you will have that mindset of entrepreneur. Like I want to do something like this or something like that. And therein lies that, again, president in the capacity of presiding officer gets to preside on the meetings, start the meetings, give an inspiring note, what Kalpana did for today. So these are the couple of things which I thought of sharing in the interest of them beyond the club leadership handbook. What I would urge you guys is go download the club leadership handbook. In a couple of times, I'll try to upload it on the Zoom as well. Understand about the leadership role. I would say it's the hidden gems in the Toastmaster. Lot of learnings. Communication, it's flexible, open-ended, but leadership, it's goal-oriented. That is something called a DCP program, Distinguished Club Program. So there are goals, there are milestones which you need to achieve, and you grow as a leader when you take on this opportunity. And with that, I end my session and hand over to the presiding officer who gave it to me, Toastmaster Kalpana.
Thank you, Sunish. Thank you so much. It was awesome. We enjoyed every moment of it. Not only was there fun, there was a lot of learning, lot of, I think everybody would agree with me over here. Didn't he all make us want to be a part and grow from a speaker to a leader? Everyone raise your hands if you agree with me. Thank you so much. Thanks a ton. Thanks a ton, Sunish. I don't know how to appreciate it. Of course, there is a certificate which I'll request my SAR to share it with you. But on a personal note, thank you so much for that particular detailed roles and responsibilities if you join Toastmasters XCOM. Appreciate it, Sunish. Kindly accept the certificate of appreciation, Toastmaster Sunish. Zoom Master would like you to highlight and take a photo. I think there has been a mistake. It has gone to Hridaya. Could you just change it? Excuse
Thank
me.
you, Kalpana. It's okay since we
Okay,
have
there
already.
has
So I
been
saw my
some-
name is up, but thanks. Yes.
Yeah, it was there initially. I think there was some technical snag. All right, Monica, at least when we send it to him, we'll send him the actual. Thank you so much. There it is. Thank you. A huge round of applause to Toastmaster Sunish. And we now move on to our regular meet. Today, we have among us Toastmaster Jyoti. I stumbled across Toastmaster Jyoti, I think, when we were looking for role players and we were looking outside of our club for role players, especially experienced and veteran role players, because I am of the belief that if I have experienced role players, I am giving a lot to my members. And hence, Toastmaster Jyoti, who has constantly visited us and has been a part of our club and has been kind enough to take up the role of the Toastmaster of the day today. I gladly and happily hand over this virtual stage to none other than a kind, supportive, wonderful Toastmaster, Toastmaster Jyoti. Welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Thank you, Kalpana, for those encouraging words. Zoom Master, I'm audible, visible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. May I see the timer card, because I would like to end my session within 7 minutes. So 5 minutes green, 6 minutes yellow, 7 minutes red.
Timer Toastmaster Shubham.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay. Let me start my session. As a TMOD, I've got 3 roles to play. Any Toastmaster session is divided into 3 parts. The first part is the prepared speeches. The second part is the table topics. And the third part is the general evaluation. The first part is what, as a TMOD, I'll be handling. And during the session, I'll be introducing the tag team, that is the timer, grammarian, and the arc counter. Before that, I'll be sharing the theme for today's meeting, which is perseverance. I would like to ask each one of you, how many of you believe in miracles? May I see a show of hands? How many of you believe in miracles? Nobody?
I do.
Okay.
So does Toastmaster Manoj.
Okay. Now, why ask this question? Whenever I feel depressed, whenever I feel I am not able to perform my duties, perform an activity, I always think of this person who has always been my motivator. And this person's name is Joanne Mansfield Sullivan. How many have you heard of this name? Her name is Johanna Mansfield Sullivan. Anyone of you have heard her name? She is also called as Anne Sullivan.
I think I have heard of Anne Sullivan, though I'm not able to recall or remember. Even the first name I have come across it, I think she's an author.
Okay, let me give you a little history about herself. At the age of 7, in the year, I think 1936, she lost her mother and she was left with a small brother. And as the father was not prepared to take care of the child, they left the children. In those days, children without parents were sent to foster homes. Anne Sullivan and her brother were sent to a foster home. Unfortunately, it was found that her brother is suffering from a disease which in those days didn't have any cure, and that was TB. When the rest home people came to know about it, they were forced to separate Anne Sullivan from her brother. That was the most saddest part of Anne Sullivan, because she knew that there is no cure for TB, and as she had judged, within 1 week, she came to know that her brother has expired. That was the most saddest part in her life. She came across so many hurdles, but the determination with which she said, okay, it's a part of life, and she went ahead with it. The people in the foster home, they realized the way she was doing work, and they came to know that she has got some eye defect with which she is not able to read. So she was sent to a blind school, and within a very short time, she not only learned the braille language, she also learned the sign language. At the age of 20, she was the only person in the entire institute who could teach to the blind as well as to the deaf. At this stage, a very strange letter came to the principal of the institute. They wanted somebody to teach a child who is both deaf and blind. In those days, when a person is deaf and blind, that person is sent to a mental asylum and they die a horrible death. Now, this girl whose mother was not ready to give up, she wanted somebody to take care of her child. Though Anne Sullivan had never trained somebody who's deaf and blind, she took up this challenge. Any guesses who the child was?
Helen Keller. It's Helen
Absolutely.
Keller.
Helen Keller.
Helen Keller. Now, when she came to Helen Keller's house, Helen Keller was 7 years old, and she was the most naughty, very undisciplined person. Helen Keller's father was in the military, and he knew that there is no way Anne Sullivan can train Helen Keller because she herself is partially blind. So he said, this is all ways of making money. Helen Keller's father gave Anne Sullivan a period of 1 month. He said, if you can train her within 1 month, Anne Sullivan said, that's a very short period. She did everything that was possible within the short period that was given to her. Last day came and she gave up. Helen Keller's father said, enough, you can leave. But before you leave, you can have breakfast with us. So when they were having breakfast, Helen Keller dropped a jar of water, which Anne Sullivan couldn't digest because she had trained her so much. She caught hold of Helen Keller's hand, took her to the water pump, and pumped the water with one hand, and the other hand kept it on her mouth, repeating the word water. Helen Keller, for last 1 month, was thinking, what is this lady trying to tell me? Are you suddenly, when she realized, are you saying this thing which is flowing in my hand is water? That is when Anne Sullivan realized she has achieved her goal. Friends, the kind of struggle that Anne Sullivan went through that 1 month. If you ask me, the word perseverance came from the activity what Anne Sullivan has done. Today, the world knows about Helen Keller. That was the journey, that was the day Helen Keller took up Anne Sullivan as a guide. Anne Sullivan taught her to be a graduate, taught her to speak, and their relationship lasted for 45 years. Today, whatever is Helen Keller is because of that lady. Her perseverance. She said, whatever it is, I am not going to give up. Maybe it is the last 1 minute, last 1 second, I'm not going to give up. And that helped from Helen Keller being a fatal, going into mental asylum and dying, being the world's most famous motivational speaker. With this, I would like to now call on stage my tag team. Toastmaster Shubham, who is the timer.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and guest. I'm the timer for the day. As the timer, my duty is to time the prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluations. For prepared speeches, the time allotted varies as per the project and will be stated by the evaluator. For instance, for an icebreaker, the time allocated is 4 to 6 minutes. For table topics, the time allotted is 1 to 2 minutes. For evaluation, the time allotted is 2 to 3 minutes. Speakers must meet the specified time limit to qualify for the awards at the end of the meeting. I will display the green card at the minimum qualifying time, yellow screen at the midpoint of the qualifying time range, and the red screen at the maximum qualifying time till the end of the speech. For prepared speeches and evaluation, the speaker has 30 seconds grace before the minimum qualifying time and after the maximum qualifying time. For table topics, there is a grace of 30 seconds only after the red screen is displayed. All speakers who continue to speak beyond the 30 seconds grace will not qualify for the vote. I will report the time taken by the speakers when called upon. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Shubham, for that wonderful report. Now let me call on stage Toastmaster Jayesh to give his report on our counter.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Toastmaster of the day, Jyoti, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am the R counter for the day. As the R counter, I will note words and sounds that are used as crutch words or fillers by the speaker. During the meeting, I will listen to the crutch words such as and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for the filler words such as and I will note when the speaker repeats a phrase such as I or this means, and of long and short pauses. I will give my report when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Jyoti.
Thank you, Jayesh. Now let me call on stage the grammarian, Toastmaster Kalpana.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. As a grammarian, it's my duty to ensure to take note of any grammar errors, good grammar, bad grammar, good words, bad words, as well as phrases. Also, any quotes if they are being told while any person gives their speech. At the same time, it's my duty to give you the word of the day. The word of the day for today is eloquent. The meaning of it is fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing. Example, the pictures were an eloquent reminder of the holiday to Switzerland. Toastmaster Sunish was eloquent in his educative session today on leadership at Toastmasters. I hope each one of you has noticed and noted down the word. Kindly use it in your speech whenever the time permits. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Kalpana. And I wish the entire team makes today's session eloquent. So with the end of the tag team's introduction, let me go to my second part, rather third part, that is the prepared speeches. So before I call on stage Toastmaster Dheer, I would like to invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Maithili, to inform the speech objectives of Toastmaster Dheer. Over to you, Toastmaster Maithili.
Hello, Toastmaster guest. My target speaker is TMOD and pathways presentation mastery, level icebreaker, and topic is my journey, and time is 4 to 6 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster TMOD.
Hello, am I audible?
1 minute. Toastmaster Dheer, I would like to inform the audience, as it is an icebreaker speech, it is very important that we give a standing ovation once the speaker completes his speech. Toastmaster Dheer, my journey, Toastmaster Dheer.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters. It is my second session today, and I'm glad to present you. So I would like to begin my speech, my journey, with a little quote that my teacher from second grade told me. Stuttering is okay because what you say is worth repeating. I repeat, stuttering is okay because what you say is worth repeating. These were the words that my second grade teacher told me to motivate me to be eloquent while speaking. I am delighted to be here today for my icebreaker session. At the age of 6, I discovered that the speech order that I have is called stuttering. Despite this, I stand before you today, ready to share my journey with you. I am a 24-year-old professional CA, and teaching has always been my passion. I'm sure you're curious to know how things have changed for the better and how I overcame my stuttering. Allow me to take you on a brief ride through my life, starting from my childhood. So starting from my childhood, I was born and raised in Pune, which is another 3-hour drive from Mumbai, where I spent majority of my life schooling in DPS, that is Delhi Public School. It was during these early years of the school where we had small tasks to do, where every morning when the teacher would take your attendance and you had to raise your hand and say yes ma'am or present ma'am. These small public speaking words also frightened me to a great extent. As time went on, my stuttering became more pronounced, especially with words that started with S. So at times when I had to tell someone that I stutter, I would stutter while saying stuttering. Fortunately, I have been very lucky with my family and my friends around me. They were incredibly supportive, and they have never made fun of me at the public, and they've always motivated me to do better and overcome this fear of public speaking. This is one of the major reasons that I've joined Toastmasters. Another incident that really helped me, apart from my friends and families, another incident that helped me was in 2010, when the movie The King's Speech was released. This movie was released in 2010, and this served as a major booster for me. Now, why this was important was because this movie revolved around King George VI, who tries to overcome his stammering problem with the help of a speech therapist. So imagine a king who was leading his country through World War II had an issue with stuttering. Now, a leader has to be confident while speaking. And if you are not able to motivate people, if you're not able to guide people, then what leader are you? He overcame this he overcame this stammering problem with the therapist Lionel Logue. So these names, of course, I was not familiar, so I have gone through these again. Coming to the point as to how I overcame this problem of stuttering, it began by spending countless hours practicing in front of a mirror, just me, myself, and I. Gradually, I started to feel more comfortable expressing myself among friends, among families, and a crowd to a certain extent. Eventually, in the year 2020, I finally gathered the courage to do a stand-up comedy show. And this stand-up comedy show had an audience of about 300 people. And this has been my highlight, and I feel the biggest audience that I've ever catered to without stammering. In 2012, my family and I relocated to Mumbai because of my dad's transfer, where we have been residing ever since. I was preparing for my CA final exams, residing in a hostel, and post clearing CA in my first attempt, I worked with Reliance for approximately 6 months. And due to COVID, everything was online. So I never got to see my actual office. Also, after quitting Reliance, I decided to go for my passion, that is teaching. And I teach CA students, and I started my own startup, which is called Drona Chartered. In addition to my professional accomplishments, I am thrilled to share that I have been accepted into XLRI Jamshedpur, that is a B school, for my MBA program. I am eagerly looking forward to what the future holds for me. And I'm glad everybody here is a very appreciative audience. And I would like to end my speech and spend some more time with you. Thank you.
So let's just give him a thunderous applause for the excellent speech, though on a virtual platform it's difficult to
Let
stand.
us
and
all
articulate.
stand and give him a virtual applause, requesting
Okay.
each and every one of us to stand and give him a standing ovation for his excellent speech. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now coming to the second speaker, Toastmaster Mihir. Before I call him on stage, I would like to request his evaluator, Toastmaster Manoj Venka, to read the speech object.
Thank you, TMOD, TM Jyoti, Pillai. Today's second speaker, Toastmaster Mihir, is attempting L3P2 project from Presentation Mastery. In this project, he is required to eloquently give a speech to inspire the audience. I repeat, eloquently render a speech to inspire the audience within 5 to 7 minutes. Back to TMOD, Jyoti Pillai.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manoj. Toastmaster Mihir, path of excellence has no final line. Path of excellence has no finish line. Toastmaster Mihir.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Jyoti. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. Thank you, Toastmaster Manoj, for an eloquent introduction of mine. Good afternoon, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmaster and guests. I would like to start with a question to all of you. How many of you admit to having a desire in life to achieve something? You all can respond with raise hand gesture or any other
Geet
group.
has raised his hand and Jyoti has also raised his hand along with Ravinder Mihir, just in case you are not able to see your audience. So there is Deer, Jyoti and Ravinder.
Yes, I am able to see them. So I also am also able to see some Zoom gestures as well as physical raise of hands. So it's quite interesting to see that we have a audience with a lot of people having some desire to achieve something. But the question is, only having a desire, is it good enough to excel at life? Obviously, no. Simply having a glass of warm water cannot make refreshing tea. Having desire simply cannot take us to the finish line or beyond. Of course, there are more ingredients essential to make this recipe of excellence delicious. Any movie is incomplete without a villain. This journey of excellence is also incomplete without obstacles. Can anyone guess what are they? What could be the obstacles in this journey of excellence?
Procrastination.
That's bang on. Anyone else?
Absence of SMART goal.
That's also correct. Okay, so in interest of time, I'll move on. In my personal experience, I met two obstacles and I found them very challenging. First one is distractions. And second one, as Zeet mentioned, procrastination. Now talking about distractions, as per few statistics from Work Productivity Survey, it was observed that an average person is distracted or interrupted every 40 seconds when working in front of a computer. In other words, we can't work for even a single minute before we focus on something else. It could be WhatsApp message, email notification, or even social media posts from someone we closely follow. Sometimes it is easy to get back on track But when our attention is completely derailed, research shows it takes more than 20 minutes to refocus. And that one is very alarming. Something which worries me even more is in our workday of 8 to 9 hours, we are distracted more than 500 times. That's quite a big number. And still we manage to deliver something productive, which satisfies me a little. Now we're moving on to the second villain, procrastination. Not very easy to pronounce 15-letter word, which gets even more complex and challenging when it comes to managing it in real life situation. A hardwired habit of delaying something important by focusing on less urgent, more enjoyable, and easier activities. Some of us may do it deliberately, compulsively, or even inadvertently. It can restrict our potential as well as it can undermine our professional careers as well. Now we know our villain or challenges very well. It's time to introduce Hero, who is eloquent with his craft to beat the bad guys. Any guesses on Hero? Who can be the savior in this situation? Okay.
Perseverance.
Oh,
I think
that's a good guess, and it's quite relatable as well.
Hard work.
But in my story, I rate consistency as the hero. And being from a corporate background, I was believer of doing things in a Toyota way. And this is a phrase where we aim at something which is good enough. There is also a counter thought process on doing things in a Mercedes way, which is a pristine way of doing things. I would often get confused in choosing which path is correct for me. One gives quick rewards, the other one requires more dedication, more work. Then one fine day, my mentor told me, look, if you want to achieve what 95% of people have, then follow path one with quick rewards, but it will make you complacent over the time. If you want to achieve 5% of achievers have achieved in their lifetime, then you know the answer. Be the Picasso of your art. Do your work in a certain way that is hard to replicate for others. Those words struck my heart. I would like to share a few methods to master at this journey of excellence. Avoid overthinking. Make decision making very easy. Don't focus too much on result. Rather try to be very diligent with the process. Be open to making mistakes, but make sure that we don't repeat them very often. Value our time, which is limited to all of us. Consistency is something which can transform a mediocre into an excellence. So never stop diligent effort. Try to be consistent with them. As they say, consistency is king. King always wins. Thank you everyone for your active participation. I really enjoyed giving speech in front of a very nice audience. I hope the experience was mutual. And over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Neer, for that wonderful speech. Now I will request the timer, Toastmaster Shubham, to give the timer's report for both the speeches.
So the timing report is as such. Toastmaster Dheer took 5 minutes and 12 seconds, and Toastmaster Mihir took 6 minutes and 55 seconds. Both qualify for the voting.
Thank you. Before I hand over to those table topic master, I would like to share a small thing about the theme perseverance. I started my speech asking people, do you believe in miracle? I request each one of you to go through a small video in the name of the miracle worker. The miracle worker is totally based on Anne Sullivan's journey. Will definitely help you to understand what miracle, what perseverance is all about. Okay, thank you very much. Now coming to the second part of today's session, that is table topic master. I would like to call on stage Toastmaster Ravinder. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Jyoti, for giving me this opportunity to start my session on the table topic. So, greetings everyone. Today, I am the table topic master, Toastmaster Ravinder from Chalk Industry Toastmaster Club. Do you know what is the purpose of table topic session in our Toastmaster session? Anyone from the audience? Yes, speaker me.
Yes, so table topics are designed in such a way that it helps us to be on feet, as we have to give some impromptu speech for like 1 to 2 minutes. And like if like those who are following the Eloquence 2023, so they must be aware about we had a very exciting IPL contest in the conference. And I mean, if I have to compare with the other segments, then it was something like where there was a very high energy, and it was one of the exciting segment of the conference. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mihir, for your eloquent thoughts on this topic. The purpose of table topic in the table topic section is to have the member practice the speaking skills. And in this session, we learn mainly 4 skills. Number 1, listening. Number 2, thinking. Third, organizing the thought. And 4th is delivering. And the table topic session, the speeches will be 1 to 2 minutes, and 30 seconds will be the grace period. So for the sake of the guest, I will revise my topic twice. And I would love to see the hand from the volunteer. If anybody raise hand, so I can start. Or should I call anyone?
I can take on if you want.
Okay. Toastmaster Manoj, for you, I have a question. If you are forced to eliminate the physical possession from your life, with the exception of a backpack, what you will put in that backpack? Over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. If I have to minimize and lead a minimalistic lifestyle, I think that's what I have been following for last so many years. And if I have to put something in a backpack, this is a journey of life. I've started this journey 55 years back and still continuing. And whatever times left for the final exit, if I have to go with a backpack, I'll have a book in my hand. That's one of my passions. Yes, a book in my hand, a bottle of water to quench my thirst. One, quench the thirst of knowledge. Another, the physical thirst. I think with these two, I can lead my whatever life's left till I finally exit and enter Mother Earth's womb. Yes, I repeat, I've started my journey 55 years back when I glided out of the honeyed womb of my mother, physical mother. She is now in heaven. And I'm waiting to enter Mother Earth, the universal mother of all of us. And I can finish my left out journey. It can be next moment, who knows? Life is so very uncertain. But I would love to have in my backpack a book like The Prophet written by Khalil Gibran, one of my best that I like to read often. And next, a bottle of water. With that, I can finish my journey and close my eyes peacefully, happily. Over to you, Ravinder.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manoj, for your eloquent thought on the topic. Yes, the books are the wonderful thing that we can always keep with ourselves. By reading books, we can live the 1,000 lives in one life. Otherwise, we are living only once. So, who want to volunteer for the next topic? Anyone? Toastmaster Shifali. Would you like to attempt? You're not audible. Network issues there. No worry, we can shift to someone else.
I'm not sure about it.
Okay,
Hello,
Toastmaster
no,
Kalpana, would you like to attempt?
All right, give me a
Mm.
topic.
For you, I have a beautiful question. When you have a random 1 hour of free time, what would you like to do in that 1 hour? Over to you.
Random 1 hour of free time. I actually wait for a random 1 hour of free time because my free time starts post 11 o'clock when the fairies bring in my sleep and sing a lullaby so that I sleep. But in case I do get that 1 hour, I want that 1 hour in the darks of the night, not in the daytime. Because I like to go out in the night for a stroll where the moon is in full bloom, shining down on me, and not those LED lights, not those yellow street lights. I want to feel the darkness of the hour with the torch of God. A nice, lovely green grass carpet, maybe in a park. But yes, I would surely like to lie down, look at the heavens, and ask them, are you all there too? Is life there too? Does a physicist world exist? Does a parallel world exist? If yes, how are you? We are fine over here. Thank you for letting us take a peep out to the sky, to the universe, to be out of the containment zone of the home and be one with you. Thank you, Toastmaster Ravinder. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kalpana, for your beautiful thoughts. Yes, next, can we have any guest? Saurabh Shetty, are you ready?
Sorry, I'm not prepared. I'm still understanding the structure of this organization.
So you can try.
Yes.
The simple thing.
No, maybe
I'm
next
giving you
time.
a simple question.
Maybe next time. I'm not comfortable.
Okay, no worry. Just Toastmaster Jyoti.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What was the last time you tried something new? What was the last time that you tried something new? Over to you, Toastmaster.
That's a beautiful question. Last 3 weeks, I was in New Zealand to attend my niece's wedding. I have never been to a country like New Zealand before. What I liked about that country was the entire country is pollution free. And every person whom you meet over there has something very nice to say. The word trust, if you want to understand the meaning of that, you have to visit this country called New Zealand. You go to any shop, go to any restaurant, and when you go to the bill counter, you have to tell them what you had. There were no people who will come and ask you what you had. The same in the shopping mall. So what I liked about New Zealand, it was a beautiful journey of my life. Lush green, though they don't have much of industries over there, their entire industry is based on agriculture. And the people are so loving. And especially if you see the traffic signals, there are no honking. I've never seen anybody honking. For the simple reason, each person feels it is his or her responsibility to follow the traffic rule. So there are no traffic cops anywhere. There are no honking. So that was my beautiful experience, which I wanted to share with you all. Thank you. Over to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyoti, for your wonderful thoughts. Yes, Toastmaster Geet, are you ready for the next topic?
Yeah.
Yeah. For you, I have a beautiful question. Another. What did you learn recently that have changed your life?
Last weekend, we were having the Eloquence 23 in Ahmedabad. Well, I am from Gujarat, so I attended that and I was the MC for the second day. So I was hosting the event and it was the first time when I was handling the crowd of at least 250 plus over there. And I used to feel that, okay, I am a good speaker, I am eloquent speaker, I can handle the crowd and everything all together. But to my surprise, it is very, very difficult to handle the crowd with so much volume because you can always handle a limited amount of crowd, but at the end, there are 2, 3 lines back, likewise in the school as well. Backbenchers, they don't listen. So that used to happen with me on the stage as well. DTM were telling me, hey, handle the crowd, ask them to sit down. What can I do? They weren't listening to me. But when I spoke with my mentor was also available there. So he told me, hey, it is very common. Even Amitabh Bachchan, when he goes on stage, many people don't pay attention to him as well. So it is okay. You don't have to manage all the crowd. You just have to focus on the ones who are responding to you. And the job of yours is to let the show move on, let the show goes running. So yeah, that was biggest learning that I had recently.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Geet. Can I attempt the last? Anybody who want to attempt? Or should I conclude?
I think if it is all right, Table Topic Master,
Okay,
so
no
that we
worries,
can
no
be
worries.
within the time limit.
So thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
everyone, for attempting these wonderful topics. I hope you all loved, as I loved, all this session every time when the time came for the table topics. It's a wonderful thing. I think the Toastmaster meetings have. We can learn. Even the speech, we got the time for 4 to 6 minutes, but in the table topics, we just speak for the 1 to 2 minutes. So everybody can attempt that and learn something new every time. So thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your eloquent thoughts and views. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ravinder, for that excellent table topic session. I will now request the timer to give the timer's report.
So the timing report is as such. Toastmaster Manoj took 1 minute 50 seconds. Toastmaster Kalpana took 1 minute 45 seconds. Toastmaster Jyoti took 1 minute 58 seconds. And Toastmaster Geet took 1 minute 20 seconds. And all of them qualify for the voting.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shubham, for that report. Now, before I handle over to the general evaluator, I would like to conclude on my theme of perseverance. Friends, perseverance is that word which each one of us should have with yourself. One wonderful example I would like to share with you all is Toastmaster Kalpana. Whenever I look at her, I think about this word perseverance. She never gave up. She's always there, committed to her club. Got so much to learn from. Thank you, Kalpana, for being that to all of us. Now, let me call on stage the general evaluator for today's meeting, Toastmaster Jeet Aditya. Over to you, Toastmaster Jeet.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Jyoti. Now we have the evaluation portion of our meeting. This is an extremely important part of our meeting as it provides the speaker who gave prepared speeches with instantaneous feedback from their fellow Toastmaster members. The purpose of this evaluation is to give both positive comments and suggestions for the improvement. Hopefully, each speaker will feel encouraged by the aspects of their speech that went well and motivated to make their speeches even better for the next time. My role as a general evaluator is to introduce the individual evaluators for each speaker. I will also share some of my observations regarding the overall quality of the meeting at the end. So to start with, I would like to call our first evaluator, Toastmaster Mitali, to evaluate the Toastmaster their speech. Over to you.
Thank you, General. First, congratulations for Dheer. You completed the icebreaker speech, and your speech is very excellent. And 2 lines for your speech is my journey is my inspiration. Your journey is a very inspiration. You're you share your class school moment in class and attendance, and you're go Mumbai and teach and all with your journey with education is a very nice. And your eyes contact with the audience is very good. And your body language and voice are very good for the audience. and improve for your speech. And the first is improve your body language and gesture. Use your hand movement. Hand movements are to change in a speech, and try to your voice to are very energyful and to attention the audience, and to the enjoy your speech and also enjoy your speech. And start a speech with a before a check from or I'm audible and visible. So can you help to your speech? And over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mitali. Now to evaluate speaker number 2, I would like to call evaluator 2, Toastmaster Manoj, on the stage.
Thank you, General Evaluator Git. A path of excellence has no finish line. And you not only spoke today, but you, I think, make us visualize what it is. It was an eloquent speech, and I must appreciate the kind of interaction you introduced. Generally, we find, like when you asked a question in the beginning, that's what most speakers do. But you kept on asking questions in between, even towards the end. And for a 7-minute speech, it's a great challenge to make it that much interactive. So many questions, and that is the, I think, key to connect with the audience. So not only from the beginning till end,
you remained connected with the audience with that interactive sessions. And you remained within the time. Hats off to you for this. Then coming on to the data you give, that gives some authoritative and authenticity to the speech that you have crafted today. Like 40 seconds, we get distracted. 20 minutes to refocus again. And we generally get distracted more than 500 times. So all those data made your speech more authentic, more authoritative. Now your gestures were bang on. You used your body posture. Your student spoke. You used your hand gesture to emphasize whatever you spoke. And the craftsmanship of the speech lies in giving a takeaway for the audience. Not only it started with a bang and a well-crafted body, but it ended with a good takeaway for all of us. Be diligent, be open to make mistakes, but you again added, but don't make it too repetitive. That shows the thought that have gone into preparing and crafting this speech. And I loved each part of you, this well-crafted speech, but few angles that you can improve upon is one is the camera angle. That's a great challenge. Most of your body gestures were remaining below your waist. You need to bring up your hand gestures so that it becomes apparent to all the audience. Second, if you could introduce bit of voice modulation, that's a challenge with me too. I too am trying. But whenever you emphasize something, like be diligent, I repeat, be diligent, because we all are open to committing mistakes, but don't make it repetitive. Bit of body language, more emphatic body language and voice modulation will take your speech to the next level. But overall, I love each part. I repeat, I love each part of your speech. And the icing on the cake was the interactive session that you had with the audience. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator G.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Manoj, for a well-detailed report, well-detailed evaluation. Now I request timer, Toastmaster Shubham, to deliver timer's report.
So Toastmaster Mitali took 1 minute 50 seconds. And as she does not qualify the minimum time, she is not qualified for the voting as well. And TM Manoj took 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And he does qualify for the voting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shubham. Now I request our counter of today's meeting, Toastmaster Jayesh, to share his report.
So TM Dhir said 4 times and 1 time. Talking about his evaluator Mitali. Mitali used and 3 times, 5 times, 2 times. And she repeated 3 times. Coming to TM Mihir, he used a short pauses for 3 times. And for TM Manoj, nothing. He spoke.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Jayesh. Now I would like to call upon the grammarian of today's meeting, and a big commendation to her that she took up this role at the very end moment, and she has been quite active in the chat box to let people know like what is the word of the day. So I request Toastmaster Kalpana to handle the virtual stage and share her report.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Keith. First and foremost, I want everyone to give a huge round of applause because today my column on bad English is absolutely blank and it has just given me a fantastic feel. Thank you so much. That brings me to the word that was given today in the chat box. The word was spoken by Toastmaster of the day, Jyoti. We even had evaluator Manoj, who has used the word. Mihir used the word. In fact, Ravindra used the word twice. And Geet, you have already used the word while you were talking about eloquence and eloquent in your table topic round. Let's see the good English. Quite a few wonderful words has come up today. lackluster, miscellaneous, vocal about fears, servant leadership, primary, brand compliance, perseverance, fatal. Something very much that I liked was me, myself, and I. I don't know what it is about those word and phrase, but I really liked it. The way it was written, it really falls into good English. Catered to and Drona chartered. I have written this word because I like the mix of something that is so ancient and yet so present. The English. Doing things the Toyota way. Fantastic. I really think of only affording a Toyota or driving in a Toyota. I have a word that says, hey, there can be things that can be done Toyota way. Pristine, diligent, minimalist. I liked it. Minimalist should be our watchword. Quench. There were certain quotes. Time is of essence. Don't let your fear pull you back. Stuttering is okay because it is worth repeating what you say. Any movie is incomplete without a villain. Oh, fantastically put. It'll help me deal with my negativity. Be the Picasso of your art. Again, fantastically put. Words struck in my heart. Consistency is the king. And I want to quench the thirst of knowledge. Fantastically put, each and every one of you. Over to you, Toastmaster Geet.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kalpana, for such a wonderful report. And now it's time for my report for the overall meeting. Today meeting started a bit late, around 3:40. And Sajid and Monica, a very well done job because I can understand, we have to manage a lot of things being a SA and she did it quite well. And even though some glitches at the end in the virtual setup can be expected. Moving on, Toastmaster Kalpana, I really like the way you open each and every meeting. I have been attending your meeting for last, I don't know, about 8 to 10 months, and it's always been a pleasure to hear the opening. Today you shared about the journey and the barriers that comes and how it can be rotated and you can be where you want to be. Such a wonderful story. And another thing, once again, a big round of applause for I request all of you to give a big round of applause for Toastmaster Kalpana because she has taken up several roles, being a presiding officer, being a grammarian, and taking up all those roles spontaneously can be very hard to manage. Moving on, as a G, I'm not supposed to comment on this, but yes, there was a lot of learning from Toastmaster Sunish, and still, leadership is something that we can work on till we die, and it's always going to give us some surprises at the end as well. So yeah, I hope everyone learned a good amount of, they have few takeaways that they can actually implement on and work on in their Toastmaster journey. Moving on, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Jyoti. First of all, I would like to commend you on the way you transitioned from Toastmaster Sunish to your theme. Instead of starting up with the theme, you first explain the structure of the meeting straight away to make the audience feel connected with the meeting itself, not the education session. So yeah, I really liked it how the way you manage the transition phase and the story of Helen Keller and Sullivan. It really resonated with me. Along with, we all have some questions regarding miracle. Do we believe in miracle or not, and how miracle and perseverance are actually connected? So I'm still looking forward to those, you can say, nuggets to implement in my life as well. So great job. Kudos to you on that, Toastmaster Jyoti. Moving on, table topic master, Toastmaster Ravinder. What the fabulous topics. First, she started with the questions instead of topics. And that is very, very interesting. I never did it. I personally never tried those questions in place. And again, before jumping into the table topic, she actually explained the purpose of the table topic session. Even before getting into that, she asked the question to our audience, like, what do you think about table topic session? So it was also kind of a table topic session in itself. You have to give the answers impromptu. So yeah, she explained the purpose with an example, with a well delivered topics, and she also encouraged all of us to participate. But yes, there's something that I felt that lack of participation is something that I'm sensing today. So I would encourage all of you to at least participate because table topic session are such session in which you will never know what you will learn and what kind of takeaways you will have from that particular session because good value is also impromptu. You will never get anything out of it unless you jump into it. So if you want to take something out of it, at least participate, at least have that courage to take first step. And we have the whole Toastmaster team to push you to get better. Moving on with the evaluators. Evaluator number 1, Toastmaster Mitali. Kudos to you for at least taking up the role. And I can sense that this is the first or the second time you may have taken up the role. Pardon me if I'm not correct. Yeah.
First
yes,
time, it is the first time.
First time. Wow, it was really, really good first time. I didn't even know what to say first time when I was attending the evaluation role. So yeah, good job done at that. So just one thing I would like to tell you, Mitali, is that have a structure in place. Once you have a structure, then it becomes very easy in terms of delivery. You will know what to say, when to say it. And the easiest structure, you would like to ask me, is 3, 2, and 1. Have 3 commendation, 2 recommendation, and overall summary. Just give this. If you just give it in terms of pointers as well, it will be a fantabulous. Even people have won evaluation contest with this formula. So yeah, if you work on it, I'm pretty confident that you will take it to a next level in the next meeting itself. Moving on, Toastmaster Manoj. What an evaluation. His evaluation was like a speech in itself. So, wonderful job done, Toastmaster Manoj. Just one thing, I felt that the commendation part was a bit more as compared to recommendation. If I'm correct, according to timing, I was keeping my eye on that. You took almost 2 minutes, 15 odd seconds to deliver the commendation, and only 30 or 45 seconds on the recommendation part. So if you can focus more on the recommendation, because that is where a speaker can actually take something to work on, that will be a much more better for evaluators and the speaker as well. Moving on, our counter, Toastmaster Jayesh. Toastmaster Jayesh, very well crisp report. One thing I would like to say is that whatever you deliver here is a speech. If it's a report, if it's a table topic, if it's anything, so it should always have an opening, content, and the ending. And that was missing in your delivery. So at least say something like good evening, good afternoon, at least address the audience first, then start the report. Another thing, being an R counter, it is very, very hard for even for you to remember how many R's and Ums were there for each and every member. But for you, you have the sheet which you are managing or something where you are writing it down. Same as you, we are also a little bit confused, like how many R's did I do, how many Ums did I do. So it will really help if you can share the screen while giving the report, or else you can share the report in the WhatsApp group as well, so that we can reflect upon it and work on it in our meantime.
Will do that.
Toastmaster Kalpana, what can I say? I don't have words. I'm particularly speechless. The grammarians report, it was very well done, but still a few recommendation wouldn't have hurt. So yeah, I personally like that, commendation is something that motivates us, but recommendation are something that we can actually help us to grow. Because good things, everyone has all those things to say, but being in Toastmaster, I have learned to value the bad criticism as well. And that is something that can help you to boost your growth on an exponential level. So overall, fantastic meeting, lot of takeaways from the leadership session and from the speakers as well. Thank you so much for having me here. And with that note, I would like to hand over the stage to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Jyoti.
You're on mute, Toastmaster Jyoti.
Thank you, Jeet, for that wonderful evaluation session. Coming to the last part of my theme on perseverance, I started with my speech, as I mentioned, miracle. I believe that anyone who is prepared to put in sufficient amount of hard work will always see miracles happening in their life. Like how Anne Sullivan was not ready to give up even till the last minute, and miracles did happen. So friends, With this last words, I would like to hand over the stage back to the presiding officer and thank her for giving me this opportunity. Over to you, Toastmaster Kalpana.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jyoti. A huge round of applause. He agreed to do what he wanted to do, what I asked him to do, rather. I'm so sorry for that. I just got diverted for a minute. He agreed at yesterday in the noon, if I'm right, or maybe towards evening when I just reached out to him. Because I was thinking if I'm not going to get the Toastmaster of a day, probably I will be taking it on. But I have always known Toastmaster Jyoti to comply. And I think my last bet was Toastmaster of the day Jyoti. And my second last best was General Evaluator Geet. I thank both of you because a Toastmaster of the day and a G are two important posts and positions, which I think actually raises the bar of any meeting. Thank you for raising it for us. Thank you for lots of recommendation, give away the calm way, the transition, even Toastmaster Jyoti, even I was absolutely flawed when you just became to straight to the meeting and said, yes, we are going to have a meeting. And we all came out instantaneously mentally, from Sunish, the educative session back to our normal mold of the meeting. It's time for each and everyone to know who is the winner. Let's begin our polls. So we will begin with the best speaker poll today. Sir, Toastmaster Monica, may I request you to launch the polls, please? तो पूरी का आटा पड़ा हुआ है, कल के लिए देखना कुछ सब्जी बना सकते। Monica, now I just saw the table topic, this is done. I would like you to launch the evaluators polls too, because if I'm correct, and we have senior Toastmasters here, I don't think that there is a disqualification in evaluation based on the time taken. The disqualification happens for a table topic speaker. Am I correct on this? If anyone, if Geet, you're here, you can just correct me in case I'm wrong. Or even Toastmaster Jyoti, and I think even Manoj is a senior Toastmaster compared to the number of years I have spent. Am I correct that there cannot be disqualification based on time for an evaluator? Thank you. In that case, Monica, I request you to launch the poll as for the best evaluators today. All right, we move on to the next poll. That is the role players. Requesting each and every one of you to vote, please. Thank you. Thank you. The voting for the best role player is complete, and we now move on to the best auxiliary role player. Yes, I think everyone has voted, and now we move on to the results. And while Sa, you are readying the reports or the certificates, I would request Saurabh to kindly unmute yourself and tell us what did you think of this meeting. First and foremost, thank you for attending Speakers Community Toastmasters Club's meeting. And I hope, thank you. I hope you had a good evening. Tell us something about yourself.
My name is, my name is Saurabh Shetty. I'm 39 years old. I'm in the business of hospitality. I reside in Mumbai.
Yes.
So the reason why I inquired about Toastmasters is because I have stage fear. I have a big time stage fear.
Okay.
And I think overcoming stage fear, amplifies your growth.
Yes.
But I didn't know that, Toastmaster helps in leadership also.
Yes, it
So
does.
this was very interesting. You all function like a very structured organization where everyone has a role to play.
Yes.
And everyone is taking their role seriously, and every role is being evaluated. So yes, that's about it, what I learned today. Yes, and it was very interactive. So thank you so much for letting me be here today.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you, in fact, for taking out time and attending it. Yes, you are right. Actually, for all of us, even me personally, it is not that I'm speaking or it is not that I have readied something. What helps me and what I actually appreciate and approve in this particular Toastmasters setup is that there is no single person who is exempt from evaluation. And because, as we said, there's constructive feedback that comes our way, we find ourselves implementing it, getting better, not just as a person, but as a leader too. Because even as leaders, we get feedback from outside and we are guided and supported throughout.
Right.
Thank you so much for being here, Saurabh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Saurabh. If I'm right, my Sa just messaged me saying that the certificates are ready. Stay put. There is always an internet cafe without the coffee, of course. But let us first start the certificates. Monica, could you just share the certificates? Monica? I think there has been some. Okay, I just see her message on WhatsApp. Let me just see what has happened. I think there has been a technical glitch at her end and she has dropped out. I'll just ask her to I think I'll just announce the winners because the certificates has been readied by her and I don't have access to it. But let me, okay, she is sending it to me on my chat. I'll share it in the chat box. I think there is a snag. She's unable to join in. I am just asking her to. All right. I have lost her completely. Oh, yes, it has come here. So let's hear it for the best table topics master, Toastmaster Manoj. The folder that she sent us isn't opening. I'm just going to forward the certificates on WhatsApp. Do bear with us with this technical glitch. Toastmaster Manoj. Ravinder, can I just request you to take a photograph while I pin him?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm even unable to pin him. She's also, I think she hasn't made me the host. Anyway, I'm still pinning him. Okay, is he pinned? Can you take a photograph of?
Not that I see now.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. A huge round of applause for the best table topic speaker, Toastmaster Manoj. We move on to the best role player, Toastmaster Geet. Toastmaster Geet, kindly spotlight Toastmaster Geet. Toastmaster Geet, fantastic. A huge round of applause. Just a second, okay. The best evaluator also goes to Toastmaster Manoj. The best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Manoj for best speaker. Give it up for both our speakers, Toastmaster Veer and Toastmaster Mihir. A fantastic achievement, both of them. And I'm very proud of the icebreaker speech that was given by Toastmaster Veer, as well as, the second speaker, Mihir. Mihir, thank you so much. We move on to the next. That is the best role player. It has been I think I already announced. Okay, best auxiliary role player goes to. Okay, it's me, Kalpana. Thank you everyone for giving me the chance, and thank you for using the word of the day too. With this, I announce meeting 103 of Speakers Community Toastmasters Club a close.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.